Hey, 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 hello again. Welcome to the second day of the 30-day series that I'm doing. I hope you're all well and I hope you enjoyed the video that I did on the painting of the heart, which I've got displayed right behind me here. So yeah, I'm so excited about these days, and yes, I am toying. So some of you might know me, some of you might not, but I'm sure you will get to know me as we have this journey together. Right, so today, before I even go on to say what I'm doing today, let me just say the things that I do in these YouTube videos. So through and through, I talk about healing from childhood wounds, specifically childhood wounds, so traumatic events that have affected, that have imprinted on our souls and have now gone all the way with us on into adulthood. So I'm very sort of like serious about that. I'm looking around because I'm looking for my Hush to Raw book. I might find it here, I might not, but go to Hush to Raw, you'll know. Hush to Raw on Amazon, you'll know the reason why I am very passionate about talking about childhood wounds. So today it's the second day of the break series. So they're in three. So it's 30 days, and the first 10 days I talk about the break. So that's in two sessions. So days 1 to 5 will be before the break. And when I'm talking about break, I'm talking about the breaking of the heart, my heart, and possibly yours, and how we most importantly are going to get back to equilibrium and heal the heart that got broken. So first 10 days is the break, and that 10 days is split into two: before the break and then the break. And these sessions are wrapped in somatic healing, in other words, body sense. And I'll talk about the brain. So I've studied a lot of psychology courses, neuroscience, and certificates in childhood trauma. And so, yes, so the break. So we've got before the break and then the break. And then we move into the mend. Everything's around my story, but generally how we heal, how we can heal from childhood sexual abuse specifically. Because you guys know, right? Because you have bought your ticket from Eventbrite, and it's the raw event that I'm doing on the 25th of October in London. You don't want to miss this, where it's the evolutionary event on childhood sexual abuse. Yes, it seems heavy because yes, it is heavy. It's a heavy topic, but someone's got to do it. Someone's got to draw a line in the sand and say enough. Why? Because I know the devastating effect of it. So that is that. So I mix everything together. How I've healed is through art, through somatic body felt sense, and not through the mind alone. The mind comes after when it's in alignment, and through the special grace of God, because I don't hide my faith. I've got that relationship with God, and thank God for the anchor. That might not be your situation, but that's mine. And I go through things that have helped me stay in this shame resilient space where things shake me, but I do not stumble. Right, so let's continue today. So today is day 2 of my 30-day series. Neuroscience of calm. I've got my notes here because I could go into one when it comes to storytelling and neuroscience. I'm very passionate about it, but I won't go into everything. So, day 2 is neuroscience of calm. So what safety feels like in the brain. So before I go into that, please subscribe to Hush to Raw so you can get all these beautiful nuggets, most importantly, so that I can deliver even more by the time I get a lot of subscribers. Yeah, so yeah, I need to let you know all this beautiful information that I share. Subscribe, share, press that button, your notification button, so you don't miss one of these lovely sessions, and continuously as well. And I've got courses in my healing tips school, which is Toyin's Inner Peace Pathway School. I've got the care wellness steps. You want to enroll on that, or biology of becoming. I tell you, and I kid you not, I study those. I study those. Even just last week, I went to one of the courses. It was biology of becoming, and one of those I wanted to know more about my body and how the stuckness in my neck and how it went. So I just went to read that. I of course developed the curriculum, but I had to go back to read it. So yes, so please subscribe and get your tickets. Raw event, the links below, and the courses, of course. So today we're going to start with a story. So in the other videos, or just check Hush to Raw, your YouTube videos, you will see an array of videos, over 100 videos that I've recorded on my childhood, but how we heal from traumatic events. So I talk about foster care. So I lived with the most amazing white family in the UK. And as I said, we're talking about the brain here and the safety, how it feels. So I knew, or I did know, what love felt like. And I remember when I used to go into the woods with my mum, Kind. Incidentally, her name is Mrs. Kind. And I would sit with her in the woods, and we would smile and we'll laugh, and I would just tumble on over her without a care in the world. I just knew I was safe. And I would hear all the birds singing, and everything was calm with no chaos. In other words, my nervous system, was at ease, and I didn't feel the need to be anxious at any time. Was it all hunky-dory? Not really, but it was in the most of the time it was, because I felt safe. And Maslow's hierarchy of needs, safety is at the bottom. But I will let you know as I go along that actually, if you've not had that safety, before you climb to the next one, which is, I think, is water, food, and those sort of needs, it's difficult because you stay in that stuckness if you don't get yourself into a safety way. Even as an adult, if you've not climbed the ladder of safety, you're still seeking safety. But we'll go into that more a bit later, maybe in a different video. So about this, so I can tell you that when I heard the gentle sound of the birds, and it would match my breath, and my system was in alignment. And yours, I'm sure at some point, I hope, some of you might not remember calm. You might have always remembered chaos because of the age that something happened to you. But I promise you that calm is your birthright. Peace is your power, and we claim it back today, not tomorrow, today. So I will say, as I said, I've got my notes here because I love storytelling. I will say that your nervous system, when it's calm and well regulated, you are in a state of equilibrium, and your vagus nerve, which is it's the 10th cranial nerve in the body, is at ease, and it's flourishing just like a tree when you are in equilibrium. And it's very, very vital, the vagus nerve. I don't think we speak enough about that, but we do now, because Stephen Porges, who was the founder of the polyvagal theory, it's gained more momentum. But all I want to say now is that your nervous system is well regulated when you are in a safe environment. So, and as I say, the body even remembers that you did have a safe moment. That's why I say it's your birthright to get back into that peaceful place where you were. So, things that can make you get back there, remember this is before the break, is painting. And why is painting or art so important for breath and regulation? So I will talk about the ventral vagal branch. So we have the dorsal branch and the ventral. So dorsal is sort of like the hind, it's almost like the back ventral nerve, and that is more stimulated when there's fear, but the ventral one is more about the rest, digestion, eye contact. So before I couldn't have eye contact, but this is before the trauma that I'm talking about now. So I had lovely eye contact. I would jump up and down, meaning that there was trust, there was safety, there was peace, there was calm. And when all those exist, it means that the brain's calm chemical is at play. What is the brain's calm chemical? It's GABA. So GABA, GABA, some of you might have heard that, is the gamma aminobutyric acid. Butyric, some people might say butyric, but butyric, let's put it for that. So aminobutyric acid, that's GABA. So this is the brain's calm chemical that we all have in our body. It shows up mostly when there's calm. So we want more of that. We want more of that, and how to ensure that you maintain that is through painting, through rest, through nature, and then it will fire up all those beautiful, beautiful signals to indicate that you are safe. And a lot of you will know that the happy brain chemicals as well. We have oxytocin, which they normally call the fuzzy, sort of like warmth brain chemical. That is the bonding hormone. Bonding hormone. I had that bonding hormone with my foster parent, my foster mom, even though she wasn't my biological one. I was with her from the age of 2 months old. So naturally, I had that lovely oxytocin bonding with her. And it's about trust, with trust in relationships, especially the caregiving ones. So that's why it's very important to maintain a beautiful relationship from the onset all the way through, and that secures your attachment. So I talk about attachment style as well. So if you know that before we go into trauma, what's happened to you, just as you are right now, let's get painting. Yes. Why? Because it helps, as we said, the GABA, and that chemical is very good for you to bring back what? Calm into your life. Now I'm just wetting this canvas. Some of you might have seen me do the heart, which is now behind me, and you might want to set this up just the way I have, just got it behind me. If I feel a bit, uneasy, I either read, I write, paint, dance, sing. All those artistic modalities are amazing. They are healing, because why? They speak to the subconscious. I will go into that a bit later. But yeah, Biology of Becoming, my care course. Enroll and you will learn more. So this is what we do when you want to feel calm. You paint. You can paint, and it doesn't matter what you're painting. Just little strokes around this. You can't see what I am doing, but just imagine what I am doing. So I'm just putting the brush to the canvas, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You can get these anywhere. This is actually paper today. It's not the actual canvas. So you can get acrylic paper. Why? Because we want to get back into regulation. So as I said, we're not in the traumatic bit now. We're talking about what you need to do, just like, to stay healthy. We just do that. You don't need to have experienced any traumatic event in your life for you to just do this, because as we get older, there are things that happen that we need to get back into balance before the real things happen that are not so favorable. So you can just start painting, just to stroke. I'm doing these colors how I feel. If you feel blue, paint blue. What the aim is where you want to be, not where you're coming from. You can paint black if that's what you feel, but the aim is to get you into what? Bright colors, where you feel blossoming in your ventral vagal vagus nerve. So that's where we want to get to. And the nervous system doesn't know whether it's family that's hurting you or a friend. It will get compromised either way. So you need to protect your peace. Everything I talk about is protecting the peace and your heart and your vagus nerve, nervous system, and what? Your hippocampus in your head. So what are we talking about again? So HPA axis regulation again is another one, and that is how safe caregiving teaches the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal glands. That's HPA. So all of them stay balanced under stress when you have good regulatory system. So I have just done this now, and as I said, it doesn't have to be fancy. It just needs the stroke, because there's a relationship that goes through from the brush stroke to your brain. So we need to get well regulated and paint just being childlike without being childish. So that's what I will say to that. I've just put green on here now, and yeah, we keep doing that and just say, this is how I feel today. If you want to relax, don't rush to your phone. I don't rush to my phone. I do things that will relax my nervous system. So what I will say is, let's give you some stats here. So I'm going to read it from my notes here. So these are from credible sources. According to the Harvard Center of the Developing Child, children raised in safe, predictable environments have stronger prefrontal cortex development. Now, have I told you that the brain is one of my core areas that I talk about? Oh, sorry, I've just dropped that. But so this is a bit of the brain's dropped, but that's fine. So the front of the brain is the prefrontal cortex. Let me grab that. So this is the prefrontal cortex. And if you are raised in a well-flourishing, well, you can't have a perfect family, but if it's stable and it's safe, this, according to the Harvard Center of the Developing Child, will be stronger and well regulated in terms of emotions to make healthy decisions. Now, the front of the brain, of the head, that's where the prefrontal cortex is. And then I'm sure at some point we'll be talking about the back, which is the primitive emotional brain. Yeah. So imagine we all want to make good decisions. And if you've been brought up in a family that's flourishing, there's no reason why you won't. But we stumble, we get up because we can self-soothe, but we also have the confidence and the faith within ourselves to know that we'll be all right, because we were brought up in that sense. So that's how I was in my foster family's house in Leicester in the UK. So that was just a note there. So we will end this session to say that secure attachment leads to higher resilience under stress. It leads to better memory integration. I remember people say, oh, you're going to be a doctor when you grow up. You're so brainy. And stronger relationships in adulthood. Yeah. When you have a secure attachment, you are confident in yourself. You trust the world. That you trust the people, not too trusting to be naive, but because you trust yourself, you know how to make the decisions to a large extent. No one is perfect, even those who have been securely attached from birth. But you have a better chance than those who haven't. And that's my story. Having that early sense of calm is vital, even if it's short-lived. Because I had it when I was before the break. Remember, there's a break coming up, right? Before the break in Leicester, I would jump up and down, I would paint, I would draw, I would sing, I would dance. I didn't care because I was safe. So I knew that. And I'll tell you when we get into the breaking bit. what happened, how my life shook, and probably yours, but we are going to get back to you, right? So it remembers calm, not just chaos, the body. That's why somatic body felt sense is important for you to know. So I will end this video to say that when you get a bit stressed, stress is good, it's overwhelm that's a bit toxic. Get your brush and paint so that you can remember the GABA. We want that, it helps us. You can do bright colors, you can do any type of color you want, and just stroke. You can play soft music. I did that when on the first one, and it would gently help the neurotransmitter in your brain to become calm. But you have to do it in an automaticity way. In other words, on an automatic way. In other words, keep doing it until your brain remembers and always calls you to do it. It doesn't matter what you are doing, but just get your brain into an artistic way, which is visually representative, because then your body will start to remember what calm feels like as opposed to chaos. So that's it from me. What I would like to say is remember to support us in the raw movement by clicking the link and making a financial contribution. Every little helps, please. And you can enroll on my Biology of Becoming or the CARE course. The links are also down there. Subscribe, press the your notification button so you don't miss one of these vital golden nuggets of the series that I'm doing now. We're still in the break. This first session, first 5 days is before the break. Then we move into the break, which will become very dramatic, and you'll see me smash things. Literally, I do, because that's what the break looks like, yeah? But we won't end there. We'll go into the mend, and then we go into the healing, which is very sustainable. I love you guys, and remember, your inner child, it has a voice. Don't suppress it. Let it roar. But how are we going to roar? We're going to roar through our heart, because it's more healing, it's more sustainable, and it's more you. I'll speak to you later, guys. Love you. Bye.